Having a fight, flight, freeze response or even a fawn response can be part of our body's survival mechanism. It keeps us alive. When we perceive that we're under threat, we will do our best in many different forms to actually keep ourselves surviving. But sometimes not all things are threats, and sometimes when there is hurt being done to a person and you try to navigate that with them, you can encounter that survival mechanism, which is almost a shield of denial that is protecting them from being hurt. But in that protecting of themselves, you yourself is getting hurt, which can be very distressing. And as EFT tapping is a stress reduction tool, we'll do an EFT tapping on the shield of denial to help explore and also help to reduce the symptoms around what can be stored within the body. So taking full responsibility for your own well-being and repeating after me. Let's go with that flow and let's begin to tap. Even though there has been a dispute, there has been a conflict of which I've tried to navigate, yet I've stumbled into, with this other person, the deep waters of denial. And it feels like I'm drowning in this spiral of non-acceptance and more about deflection. And I'm open to loving and accepting myself. Even though this might resemble an interaction of I said this and no, I didn't say that. Yes, it is, and no, it isn't. And where two parties try to meet to resolve an issue, more issues are raised through not accepting their parts in it. And I'm open to loving and accepting myself. Even though shields are up to protect myself from this hurt, from this perceived threat this other person has presented to me, when all I want is to gain what I lost. And I'm open to loving and accepting myself. All these conflicts, all these difficult conversations, all this maturity of which I try to bring. Life isn't perfect. I myself is not. And that's okay. Because within my imperfections lie learning possibilities. I don't get everything right first time. And that allows me to learn and to grow so that I can get things right. But if I can never accept that I'm at wrong or that I've done wrong to others, then I'll never learn and grow. I'll become stubborn in my ways and want other people to accept them. A closed-minded approach to life. Rather than being open to the possibilities and other perceptions of things that may be uncomfortable, but may also be true. And the more another person presents this to me, the more uncomfortable I get. And I perceive this as a threat, and that I'm being attacked. And I do whatever I need to do to protect myself from this hurt, which may involve creating of new realities, new truths on the fly, to keep myself safe. And I have to look at this and look at the possibility that what the other person is presenting to me is how they think and feel about things, and how their feelings were hurt by my actions. And that's not nice to look at. It might mean that I'm wrong. It's not nice to feel wrong. It brings up many memories, many emotions, feelings of shame, feelings of guilt that I need to push aside as they're uncomfortable to feel. And the feelings of others may not matter as much as me. In my desperate survival to keep myself safe. And this rationality, if received from the other person who is trying to navigate a difficult conversation about where they got hurt, how they do value the other person, but they didn't value the devaluing, or the loss of tolerance, or the shaming in the eyes of others for that person to prove their point, even though they might be making up their point to be able to protect themselves. And this does hurt. And I'm tapping on this hurt. I'm tapping on the anger that does come up to deal with the frustration of a person that won't reflect, that is more determined to deflect, to not accept, but rather reject my thoughts and feelings. And that's not nice. And it might look like a conversation of, yes it is, no it isn't, yes it is, no it isn't. As you present something, but the person doesn't want to accept it. No amount of going around in circles presents a moving forward. Just because someone can't regulate their emotions doesn't mean that I have to accept that. Similar to apologies, where the person might say, I apologized, but they didn't acknowledge their role or their actions. I'm sorry you feel that way. Are you still angry about this? I'm sorry you feel that way. If I pushed a person over and they were angry at me, I'm sorry you feel that way. That my actions who pushed you over, you should be able to handle my abuse better. It's on you that I pushed you down. And that's not an acceptance of responsibility. It's yet another conniving deflection. They never really cared about my feelings. They just wanted to be saying sorry, to be able to say sorry. And why can't you just get over it? It's been a lot of time past. Why didn't you just forget about it by now? It's like if you never clean your room and you leave it in a mess, and you think, well, time will heal all wounds. And you come back to the room with no actions to resolve the mess, the person might still have messy feelings about you. It's not a forgetting game. It's about accepting our responsibility for our actions, as all true apologies should be. I'm sorry that I hurt you. I was faultless in my actions. You do matter to me, and I'll try to change. In fact, endeavor to change, so this never happens again. But if I never acknowledge my part in it, it probably will, because I never accepted my responsibilities. I more deflected it when I thought that I was being attacked. And this perception of being attacked is more a person that's trying to get another adult to accept their responsibilities. And we might throw tantrums when we're told to clean our room. It's not my responsibility to clean up other people's messes. All this deflection, all these uncomfortable feelings, all this not wanting to be hurt. But by not taking part in my own healing, I'll take part in other people's hurting. By not accepting my actions, I cause harmful reactions in others and expect them to feel better about it. Perhaps I want to feel better about myself. Perhaps if someone can't regulate their own emotions, it's presenting it to regulatory bodies. If someone can't mediate, there are bodies that can do that for themselves. This is not my load to carry of someone else dumping this upon me. There may be people that can help me discharge my emotions from these harmful actions of others. I take responsibility in my own healing so that I can have the ability to respond to others in a kind and compassionate way, and in a way that doesn't accept abuse anymore. People do go through stuff. There's a lot of stuff in people's lives that we aren't aware of. But how that presents itself is not the responsibility of myself. I can be understanding but not condoning, as if I'm always cleaning up the mess for other people. They never learn to do it for themselves. I'm having the responsibility to no longer deflect, but to reflect on my actions, to learn how I can improve, to learn in areas where I don't need to improve, and in areas where other people might. I'm separating my stuff from other people's stuff, and not giving the stuff if people can't handle their uncomfortable emotions. There's always going to be someone, but I don't have to be that one. I'm releasing the hurt. I'm releasing the hurt from my heart. I'm releasing the tension from my belly, from holding on to so much anger. I'm releasing the frustration of a person who can't accept things for themselves. I'm acknowledging the pride and growth of how far I've come to not succumb to a person that won't accept things for themselves. I'm reflecting. And in this reflection, I'm holding on to myself and seeing what I choose not to be and improving the things that I want to be, rather than the things that were told to me and the things that I need to see in their eyes. I'm healing myself from this deflection in mind, body, and spirit. And taking a full breath in and out. So yes, an EFT tapping to explore it from both sides, from both the person that is deflecting and the person that's trying to interact to get a resolution, which is important to be able to do when navigating a difficult conversation, because sometimes if we are staunch in our position of this, we don't want to accept that we are wrong when there is being wrong done, then we'll never actually be able to have an interaction. It's going to be literally like beating your head against a brick wall and getting nowhere. And rather than saving ourselves as the concussion, it's seeing from a different perspective that some interactions might need other supports come into place, or simply it's just not a valuable interaction to be having. So I'm down from Eflowtion Support Services for EFT Tapping one-on-one online, so you can actually deal with your individual issues rather than a video that deals with generalized issues. And if you have resonated with something, then having that awareness that it's a little bit more beyond resonating, it's an awareness of an issue that might still need to be dealt with a little bit more in depth. So I'm down from Eflowtion Support Services once again, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.